If you can just copy these 3 steps, your digital product sales will explode and you might find yourself replacing your day job salary and even becoming a millionaire. You see, I've been selling digital products for the last 13 years, 11 of those within my coaching business, and I've been able to comfortably make over $2 million in revenue, but the game has changed. So if I were to go back and do it all over again, there's some extremely important things I would tell myself to get the first sale, to grow and optimize and then scale from there. I'm going to be condensing my last 13 years of digital product experience into 3 simple steps that anyone can follow. So let's just go ahead and dive in with level 1 that I'm going to call this one enough to start. When I talk to brand new digital product creators, people who are wanting to make 6 figures or they're wanting to make millions with digital product sales, there's so many different options as to how you could approach getting started in business in this way. People often try to overcomplicate it way from the beginning, which only ends up making them feel extremely overwhelmed and overworked for very, very little results. And we want to simplify things as much as possible because there's chances that you are still working in your 9-to-5 job, or maybe you have another business that you're doing and you're wanting to start selling digital products, creating digital products. We want to make sure that you're not getting yourself in a mindset of, you're having to do everything all at the same time. And instead, you're approaching it in a way that will support you with being sustainable and actually getting results. So in the very beginning, we always want you to start with doing research. Now, the best digital products are not products that you want to create because you feel excited about creating them. I would love if that was the case because we all have random interests, but the truth is that just because you're interested in something doesn't mean people are going to be willing to buy a digital product around that topic. So there's certain markets that digital product sales tend to thrive. And there's 3 specific markets that we want to look at. That's primarily health, wealth, and relationships. There's also another one I want to mention, and that is hobbies. And if the hobby that you choose is popular enough, that can actually be an effective niche or an effective market that you can step into. But typically, the most money is made in one of these 3: health, wealth, and relationships. So health has to do anything with pretty much anything health related. So it can be weight loss, it can be fitness, it can be nutrition, it can be mental health, anything within that regard. Wealth is an obvious one. If I can make money, I'm willing to pay for something that can help me make money. So this is where you can come up with anything that has to do with finance, business, marketing, sales, real estate, pretty much anything else that helps people actually generate wealth in a variety of different ways. It can be also careers, it can be salary, but it can be business and passive income and stuff like that. And then lastly, relationships. So that's romantic relationships, parenting, friendships potentially. Also, relationship to self and personal development are also really big. So make sure that you start by focusing on one of these markets just because it's going to be easier for you. Otherwise, there's so many different options that you can come up with and it's going to be hard to stay organized. My recommendation within there is to also identify who is the type of person that you're wanting to create digital products for. This is also a big part of that research piece, but this is where you want to identify the person that's going to be buying from you. You need to make sure they have, first of all, disposable income. So these are people that probably have jobs of various capacities. They are probably adults and they are interested in this work in the sense that they've probably already invested in services or products in this category. Now, for this sake, I'm going to focus on purely digital products and especially lower price digital products because it's a great way for people to get started. So once you've identified what is going to be your general area, you don't have to be extremely specific. Let's just keep it as broad as possible, but still narrow. So you're not like trying to think of anything under the sun. You still have some parameters to stick under. You want to create an MVP type of product. That is one digital product that is simple to set up. It can be an online course or like a mini course. It can be an ebook. It can be a guide. It could be a bunch of templates. It could be spreadsheets, anything that is helpful for people. So the most important thing you need to understand is for somebody to want to buy your product has to solve a problem and or get them a desired solution. Whether it's they get there faster, they get there with less stress, they are not having to pay as much as they would otherwise, and they're able to actually reach their outcome. So from there, you're creating that MVP product, and that is just a pure product. The price is going to depend on what exactly it is that you're selling, but since we're talking about digital products purely, we're not talking about massive courses, we're not talking about massive programs because that's going to take you longer to set up, and I'm assuming you don't have an audience yet, so let's create something that's going to be easy for people to say yes to. But I'm going to recommend that you go with something really low cost. Anywhere from $7 to $50 is a good place to start. You don't have to have a huge amount of people or a huge amount of trust or testimonials or anything like that for that person to be like, you know what, I'm willing to bet on this person and see what they have going on. The other important thing I would recommend is that you have a refund guarantee, because again, you probably don't have any testimonials, you don't have any results, you are just getting started. So make it easier for people to say yes and not feel fearful of saying yes to you, because they probably have been scammed by other people. So you are not that person. You are here to actually help others and also help yourself. The next step is you want to set up the digital product sales in as easy of a way as possible. I don't recommend that you sign up for tons of different softwares, tons of different things. You can keep it really straightforward and really simple, and you don't have to be a technical genius to get it done. So in the very beginning, I do recommend that you go with the simplest tech. My recommendation is that you go with something like Thrivecart. So the reason why I like using Thrivecart is because you get to set up everything within one place. Not only can people purchase the product directly from a Thrivecart checkout page, they can also be added to a course portal where they can access the downloadable or the mini course or whatever it is that you're selling to them immediately. The email will be sent to them automatically and everything is done. So you don't have to do a lot of extra bells and whistles, and you focus on promoting that as much as possible. You want to start by creating these very, very simple products, and then from there, you want to start building some confidence in yourself that you can do this, and you want to get into a habit of how easy it is to create these checkout pages, to set everything up where you can start knocking out these different products, because ultimately not every single product that you're going to create is going to crush it. In the beginning, create that one, you can then create another one and start to see which one is the easiest to sell. Once you've gotten there, the second level is all about optimize and grow. So you've probably at this point created, I want to say maybe like 3 digital products. You've been showing up, you've been gaining that confidence, you've been generating some of those initial sales, and you're like, cool, I'm not making a ton of money yet. How can I start making more money, but without having to reach millions of people? Well, this is where we can start to optimize. So this is where we start looking at average order value. So when it comes to digital products, this is key. You want to make sure that when you have one customer who wants to buy that one digital product from you, not only are they going to pay you that $7, you can present additional options in front of them as upsells or order bumps, where they can then, within the same process, the same purchase decision, they can decide, yes, I want to add this, yes, I want to add this. And that way, one person who was going to pay you $7 can turn into $20, $30, or $40. That's one customer that suddenly is worth way more right from the beginning. So when you have these 3 digital products, the ones that are working really well, you can start to optimize by adding in additional upsells, bumps, and downsells. And the good news is that Thrivecart can help you do everything very easily. You just go into that same checkout page you've already created, you add in these different products. Of course, yes, you do have to create those products, but these products tend to be easier to create because they're really about helping that initial offer that the person purchased make it better. So that's the first goal that you want to do. The next thing that you want to start looking at is, how can I optimize and start split testing the front end offer? So another thing to help you generate more sales, instead of trying to always come up with new products, you can also start optimizing your landing pages, your sales pages. You can change up your headline. You can start adding testimonials, because at this point you've had some customers. Make sure that you've generated some testimonials from those people. You can integrate them into those pages, because those small little tweaks can actually make a huge difference. It can take a difference from 2% of all people landing on your page buying to 5% to 10% of people buying when they land on the page. That is worth thousands of dollars when you have a lot of traffic going through those funnels. So this is really going to be key. The next thing you can start testing are prices. At this point, you've probably grown your audience a little bit, and either you've done ads or you've done organic, but people are starting to know who you are. You're feeling more confident. So can you start incorporating higher priced upsells? Can you start incorporating higher priced offers? So you have these $7, $27, $50 products. Let's create something for $200. Let's create something for $300. That is either a group program or a one-on-one type of situation, or something else that's enhancing the audience that you've built and making it easier for them to pay you. From there, you're really starting to look at, what else can I optimize for? So you're looking at more analytics, you're looking at your email, you're starting to really focus on building up your email, because the more you build an email list, the more people are going to buy from you, because email marketing is just way more effective than social media. So even though you were using social media primarily to get started, now you're starting to funnel people into your email marketing platform where you can continue to sell to them all these new products that you're going to be creating. You're starting to reinvest and purchase additional tools to help you with the design and the creation. Maybe you're even starting to hire and you've hired your first virtual assistant to help you with some of these development things. And ultimately, while you've been investing a lot of time into research and development in level 1, here you're actually doubling down on that and you're wanting to see how can all the offers start to work together so that not only are they stacking together, but you're able to start seeing the trajectory of each customer. What can they purchase later on? How can we start optimizing not only for the average order value, but how can we start optimizing for the lifetime value? So what are the additional offers you can sell after that from there? Now that point takes us to level 3. Level 3 is like boss level. I'm going to call it scale beyond. At this point, you're feeling very confident with all the offers, all the things that you've been creating, and it's time to start automating. So you've probably been doing a lot of things on your own. You probably have started by hiring some virtual assistants and people like that to help you with design or fulfillment or creating some of these email marketing campaigns and stuff like that, but nothing super complicated. So at this point, this is the advanced stuff. How can you start expanding your reach, expanding your visibility, and really taking it further? So at this point, as a digital product creator, you're probably not even thinking about creating higher ticket offers, but what if you did? What if you started by incorporating some mid to high ticket offers into the mix? This is not a common thing that we talk about because the whole idea of digital products is that it's meant to be downloadable, it's meant to be easy, it's meant to be very much behind the scenes. But ultimately, we know that if you had hundreds of customers at this point, there's going to be a certain portion of those people that want more. They want more handholding, they want more support. And just because they purchase your product doesn't mean their problem has been fixed, because very few people actually go through and finish and complete the resources they purchase, which is a bummer for us as humans, but not necessarily a bummer for you because you can then sell them something that is going to be more supportive. Can you start incorporating more recurring options? Ultimately, recurring revenue is the most important thing that you can have in your business because it means that you're not going to be starting every single month at zero. When you start having, 100 people that are paying you $50 a month, it makes life so much easier. At this point, you've got this. All you have to do at this point is you're using your low ticket offers, your digital products, not just as this is the core of my business, but you're able to use it as a funneling system to then send people into a recurring offer on the back end. You can start leveraging different types of funnels that go beyond just what we talked about. So we talked about low ticket funnels. We talked about where, you have that low priced offer, then you have an order bump, then you have some upsells or maybe downsells, and then you're able to optimize for the average order value. But there's other types of funnels that you can have either for those customers or people who are just circling around your community and they haven't necessarily purchased from you yet. You can move them into other funnels that are presenting them with your recurring revenue platforms, like your memberships, your group programs, your bigger courses. And an easiest thing, if you're like, hey, I don't really want to spend a lot of time with people, I like creating digital products. An easy recurring revenue offer is that people can pay a low price and they will simply get access to new digital products that you create every month. Being able to start using additional funnels, moving into your high or mid ticket if you are wanting to. You can also start tapping into affiliate relationships because at this point you've had many different customers. Some of these customers can turn into affiliates for you. So they're going to be generating additional sales for you and getting a little cut of each sale. But you can also tap into other creators. You can create collaborations. So that's another way for you to optimize and scale beyond your existing audience. So start connecting with other people. So you can start partnering with these different people, starting to promote each other's offers, or potentially even creating joint venture opportunities where you're creating offers together and you're getting to share the profits. So that way you don't have to work so hard, but you don't also have to hire people to do the things for you. You can actually create partnerships where they're mutually beneficial. And at this point, if you haven't been doing paid ads, if you've only been focusing on organic, which I would say most people that I speak with, they want to focus on organic. I do think that organic marketing, like social media posting and stuff like that, it does take a little bit more time and it definitely takes more energy, I would say, but it is technically a free platform, which is why most people start there. So if you started there, at this point, the best thing that you can do is start tapping into paid ads because you already know what's working. You already know which posts have been generating the sales. So all you have to do is spend a little bit of money every single day to push more people to see those posts, and boom, you have additional sales going into your funnels and into your ecosystem. Now, there might be some mindset stuff that might be coming up here. Some people that I hear from, they feel like, you know what? I feel okay. Like, I don't necessarily want to grow. And if that's you, if you're like, hey, I like where I've been, I don't want to do anything. I don't necessarily want to keep pushing per se. That's completely fine. Keep in mind that when you stop putting the energy into your business, it's going to eventually stop producing the outcome as well. Try to resist the complacency that might happen from this state of like, everything is great. I'm happy now and I don't have to change anything. That's fine, but still keep an eye on what is going on. At this point, you'll also notice that it starts to feel a little bit boring. So this is a common thing that I hear from people, and I've definitely experienced this too, where everything is going to be working so smoothly. You're going to be getting sales. You're going to be having, people coming in and everything is working, and it's just going to be working like a well-oiled machine at some point. And for creatives, that might actually feel really uncomfortable because many entrepreneurs are actually addicted to dopamine, where we want things to be like a roller coaster. There could be a little bit of that sabotaging thought that might come up that's like, I don't know, this is kind of boring. Maybe I need to change this stuff up. Maybe I need to break some things that are working unintentionally so that I can have a little bit of drama in my life. So if that's happening, please know that an effective, successful, thriving, sustainable business is kind of boring. At the core, it is okay. That is normal. That is good. So try not to rebel against the predictable nature of what you've built. That is a good thing. Boring might be the operations, your life derailed, and start chasing some shiny objects or trying to break things because you're getting a little bit uneasy and a little bit restless. I want to encourage you right now. This is the exact moment, the easiest time in history to start an online business. So use this information and build your own flourishing business online. And if you don't feel ready, go ahead and click right here to go watch the next one, where I'll cover everything you need to know and all the reasons as to why starting a business is so easy right now, and show you exactly what you need to be using and taking advantage of right now in order to get started and to get ahead. So if you're serious about starting an online business and having financial freedom, I'll see you in the next video.